And again, this is Matthew Boyle here for Breitbart News at the Conservative Political Action Conference out just outside Washington, D.C. in National Harbor. My guest right now is Congressman Paul Gosar from Arizona, one of the true conservative warriors on Capitol Hill. He's been fighting for the truth on Fast and Furious, immigration, and holding even Republican leaders accountable. Congressman, I understand you just got done with a panel on immigration. Can you tell us a little bit about what you talked about and what we have to do to deal with this issue?
Well, we talked about if you build it, they won't come. We were talking about border security and border fencing, and then the strategy in regards to that. And understanding that is key, but identifying it is also another key, something that we see this president failing to do, whether it be from ISIS or border security or acknowledgement of the law. So that's the biggest key. So we had a nice conversation with people to understand what they can do and how they can orchestrate this to a winning message for conservatives.
Okay, and now, so up on Capitol Hill, we're seeing this effort by to defund the president's legal, unconstitutional executive amnesty, and I guess they just cut the 1 week deal up there. But is this what can conservatives do around the country to help guys like you in the battle to prevent there from being some backroom deal that leads to there not being, actual defunding and stopping of the president's executive amnesty?
I think it's folks like everybody that came to CPAC is going out and contacting their Congress people and making sure that they get a backbone. We got to stand for something or continue to fall for everything. If the floodgates open up on this one, think about what's coming. The debt ceiling the president does by himself.
Just now the FCC, right?
Absolutely. Once
the
again,
internet.
Taxing the internet and government control. So if you want more control, let's not talk to our conservative, our members of Congress. Let's be forceful about our message. We have the right message. What we need to do is debate it anywhere, any place, anytime. And we need to seek out our elected officials to make sure that they're held accountable.
Now, so basically, what you're telling me there is that when the grassroots starts calling Congress, it works. People, your colleagues listen to those calls.
Absolutely. Every office inventories calls, emails, Facebooks, and direct conversations directly when they're back in the district or when you come to Washington D.C. We ought to be taking that freedom-loving, liberty-seeking aptitude and make sure we seek out those representatives like heat-seeking missiles and make sure that they understand the consequences of inaction.
Now, in a couple of weeks here, I think we're going to be seeing Loretta Lynch up for a confirmation vote in the U.S. Senate, and the person who she's going to be aiming to, we don't know if she'll be confirmed yet, the person that she'll be aiming to replace is Eric Holder. Now, Eric Holder, and you have gone, you've exchanged some bouts, I guess, if you will, on Capitol Hill over Operation Fast and Furious. Now, can you kind of give us an update on where the investigation into Fast and Furious is, and what else we need to be able to be doing here?
Well, as you know, Matthew, we got dumped on the night before the general election with about 60-some thousand documents, and they just basically dumped them. And our committee at Government Oversight has been calibrating those and choreographing to find out, did the administration, and particularly Mr. Holder, did he comply with contempt? He's missing a lot of more documents, and that's why I'm an adversary to make sure that Ms. Loretta Lynch does not get confirmed, that we keep Mr. Holder on the hot pot and making sure that he complies with orders of Congress and that he's accountable for what he's done against the Constitution and the rule of law.
So basically, you think that Holder's trying to get out so that he can avoid accountability on Fast and Furious and everything else, too?
We see that over and over again from Lois Lerner and the IRS. Let's not forget about the IRS and the missing emails. Where was he in regards to securing evidence and the documentation? Once again, this Attorney General feigns the rule of law. He utilizes it to his benefit, but feigns it when it should be applicably the right way.
So it seems like there's a pattern here emerging with this administration, of ducking accountability, hiding evidence, being absolutely non-transparent from the guy who said he was going to be the most transparent president in history, right? I mean, what is the pattern that's emerging here with this president?
Well, we see a president that claimed that he taught the Constitution, taught the rule of law, and now feigns it all the way across the board. And he's got supporting actors like Eric Holder that are defying it and actually even challenging and destroying the rule of law as it's implicated on the ground level for everyday citizens. So this is an absolute slap in the face to the average Joe, mom and pop out there in regards to the rule of law.
Now, your first vote at the beginning of this Congress was to cast a vote for a Republican alternative to John Boehner for Speaker. Now, Boehner was reelected as Speaker, but can you kind of explain to people why did you vote for a Republican alternative to Boehner, and what was the purpose behind that?
Well, we've seen the ceding of power to the executive branch since Roosevelt. So from that standpoint, what we've seen is a culture that's been bred to accommodate the executive branch and cede that power. Our leadership is nothing less. They don't understand the application that you stand for something, that you hold on to power, and that you actually fight for the jurisdiction that the Congress gives you, the Constitution gives you. And so I had seen enough in my first 2 terms that we had to have some type of change in direction. I want process. I shouldn't be afraid of the process. I should know the facts. I should debate the facts, and learn the power of persuasion. That's what our forefathers built this country on, the foundation. And we need somebody that is going to embrace the very, very best of the people's house, making sure all those traits and abilities come to the forefront.
Now, again, and just to kind of wrap things up here, again, my guest here is Congressman Paul Gosar from Arizona. This is Matthew Boyle here for Breitbart News at the Conservative Political Action Conference. Congressman, there's going to be 15, 20,000 conservative activists here over the course of a couple of days. Really show it's the biggest annual gathering of conservatives nationally every year. What kind of messages, all these conservatives gathering just outside Washington, D.C. send to all the politicians up on Capitol Hill?
We are here, we are here, we are here, and we ought to be listening. And, that's what I would have hoped that we would have done, is not rush to a decision with Homeland Security. We should have required all of Congress to come over here to CPAC and get a spine.
I love it. Thanks so much, Congressman. Again, Matthew Boyle here for Breitbart News at the Conservative Political Action Conference. My guest has been Congressman Paul Gosar of Arizona.